hands here, George. Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who could move. Right, you don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore, because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown. Right, that's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable. Right, you go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the best players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Twisted Tuesday has begun, and we've got some drama off of Broadway in the Bronx tonight. An epic Game 1 of the World Series, but Game 2 and Game 3 were a little bit anticlimactic. The Los Angeles Dodgers are sort of suffocating the New York Yankees. If it was an MMA fight, it would be like a ground and pound type of deal, and the Dodgers are the wrestler, and the Yankees are the one getting pounded. But Anthony Volpe hits a grand slam. We've had more grand slams in this postseason than ever before, and it really is amazing. We should just be betting, will there be a grand slam in this game prop, and we'd be killing it. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. It is what it is. So the Yankees took a 5-2 lead with the grand slam, but the Dodgers are chipping away. Right now, the Dodgers are down by 1 run right now. It's 5-4. We're going into the top of the 6th inning. Max Muncy will be leading the inning off for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're getting closer to having a series on our hands here, right? 1 win can turn into 2 wins quickly. Next thing you know, you're going back to L.A. For a Game 6. But I get the feeling there's a lot of stuff that's still going to happen tonight, right? We saw a wild Game 1. And, extra innings and big-time drama. Does Freddie Freeman have another one? Does he have one more shot in him? And in the same, I would say the same stadium, but it's not, but it is. Reggie Jackson, of course, hit the 3 home runs. Does, it's been an epic postseason, epic World Series for Freddie Freeman. So Max Muncy leading the inning off for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Current number right now, the Dodgers are plus 210. Dodgers are plus 210. In-game total is 12.5. Dodgers plus a run and a half is minus 160. So there's the updated numbers as far as the baseball is concerned. So we're obviously going to focus in on the baseball tonight, but we've got picks for you. We got hockey picks. We got football picks. We got basketball picks. Pelicans and Warriors. And like every NBA game, for the most part, there's always going to be players out. And tonight, the team that's devastated by the injuries are the Golden State Warriors. All right, there's no Steph Curry. Curry's going to be out for a couple of games at least. He's going to be reevaluated at the end of the week. You've got no Wiggins tonight either. You do have Buddy Hield. You got Draymond Green, Moses Moody, and Kuminga, Looney, but for the, it's not the Golden State Warriors. I'm kind of surprised by the number here, to be honest, that the Pelicans are a little bit bigger favorites. So minus 125 on the money line. We played the Pelicans on the money line in this game. We got an NHL game. Cam Stewart will join us, and Andrew McCannis. And McCannis is captain pucks, loves to bet the pucks, and Cam does as well. The LA Kings are in action against the San Jose Sharks. I don't have a ton of interest in this game due to the fact of the number, right? The LA Kings are minus 320 favorites in this hockey game. It's an insanely high price. I don't care what sport it is. You're laying minus 320 on the money line. Is it a stone cold Steve Austin lock of the century? And don't forget, every lock has its key. But we know San Jose struggles. San Jose, hell, wasn't it just last night we were talking about San Jose? And they came back late against Utah. I've been in baseball mode, but we had our eye on that. And was it last night? All these nights sort of merging together. And yeah, it was. They were in Utah last night, so they're playing in the altitude. That's right. They came back and they won a game 5-4. Now they're back home, and now they get an LA King hockey team that's had a couple of days off as well. And we should note too, this is one of these rivalries. Well, rivalry, whatever, division and all that type of stuff, but it's been very one-sided. The LA Kings have won 8 of the last 10 times that these two teams have played, but I'll tell you what, the last 3 games that they played have all been one-goal games, 3-2, 2-1, and we had an overtime game, 4-3. But the LA Kings, the Kings are going to win this game tonight. I would say that they're going to win on the puck line as well. Bad spot for the San Jose Sharks after playing the Utah Hockey Club. Couldn't even come up with a name. They just went with the Hockey Club. So there's 2 outs right now. The Dodgers are going pretty quick in the top of the 6th inning. Gavin Lux is up right now. Obviously we're on the Dodgers in this game, and I sort of I got the Dodgers to win the series already, and I sort of took the thought process from a betting perspective of, well, whatever. We'll hammer the Dodgers tonight. If they don't win, we'll come back with them again tomorrow. And if they don't win, that'll be like the triple down monster play in Game 6. I always sort of had the feeling that Game 6 was the scenario. We told you before the series started, plus 400, or plus 450, plus 400, plus 450 for Game 6 to Dodgers in 6. But I was sort of figured Yamamoto's going to be the one on the hill in Game 6 when they win. This game isn't over tonight. The Dodgers could still win tomorrow. And I don't think the Yankees, I don't want to mush this thing, but I don't think the Yankees are going to come back and win the series still. Even if they win the game tomorrow, I don't think they would win 2 games. I think Yamamoto and the Dodgers will put the fire out. It's really difficult. You see this a lot in sports. When teams are up 3 games to none, and baseball, listen, baseball has a history of which when the teams are up 3-0, they sweep all the time. It's happened 8 times. And you have to go back to 1970, the last time that a team was down 3-0. Pretty crazy. The last time that a team was down 3-0 in the World Series and actually won Game 4 was 1970. All right? So, and it's never happened in the World Series that anybody's come back from the 3 games. But listen, things can change in a hurry in sports. And if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers, there is a concern now with Ohtani. I mean, the guys he's literally playing with. Well, I don't know how he's swinging a bat. The guy can't run. He's got one arm, like he's holding his shoulder together as he runs. So the longer the series goes, the more that could become more of a story and an impact on the series. So Los Angeles Dodgers would be well suited to find a way to come back and win this game tonight, although, the television networks are hoping otherwise and hoping that they get a bang for their buck. We got college football going on. I can't really say it's a bang for your buck, this stuff. We have another CUSA Classic going on tonight. Louisiana Tech have been leading Sam Houston State 3-2 most of the night. We just said there's been more Grand Slams than ever in Major League Baseball postseason history. I swear to God, this Conference USA conference that used to be kind of good, now, whatever, dude. Look at the teams that they have in this conference now. But there's always a safety in these games. I've never seen so many safeties in these conferences. Remember, last week there was multiple safeties. It was a 14-5 game a couple of weeks ago. Both teams had a safety. There's always safeties with this stuff. Another safety tonight. We had a 3-2 game. But Sam Houston State have taken a lead. They're up 9-3 right now. We're on the underdog in every game. We're getting drilled right now to New Mexico State, but we did jump in on the in-game over, and we hit that bet to soften the blow. So it's 34-13 right now. Florida International are up. In fact, this game's coming to an end right now. It's 34-13. FIU win the football game. 14-14 Lafayette and Texas State. I keep waiting for this game to sort of open up a little bit. And it's been a really sort of slow, ugly start to this game, but now we're tied at 14, midway through the third quarter of play. And both teams are starting to move the ball a little bit. I see Texas State have scored. Now Lafayette are at midfield moving the ball. In fact, they're into the red zone right now. So, this game might turn into something here. 14-14 can turn into 21-21. Next thing you know, it's 28-28, and potentially we can get the over. Positive thinking on the Twisted Tuesday. Andrew McKinnon steps up and in. Loud Esmond in the house. Rick Saratella. The Ranger Redhead Cam Stewart. This is Sports Rage.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Twisted Tuesday, this is Sports Rage. I'm Gabriel Morency. The Yankees have put another run on the board. Austin Wells goes deep, absolutely crushes one to right field, another home run. It's a long ball series. 6-4 for the New York Yankees right now in the bottom of the sixth inning. The Dodgers are now plus 425. Soto is up at the plate right now. Landon Knack been eating some innings for the Dodgers. Doing a pretty good job doing it, actually, but he just got rocked for a shot there. In-game total is now 12.5, and the Dodgers plus 1.5 is plus 160 right now. So the Dodgers are down to their final 9 outs after this. Listen, 5-4 would have been better than 6-4. but if they can keep it 2 runs, I think something, you know what I mean? They can score 2 runs. I sort of get the feeling we're going to be here. Like this game is going to be a long game tonight. Like, you know what I mean? I was at game 1 that turned into a wild one. The last 2 have been anticlimactic. Like I said, I get the feeling that this one, like extra innings, do the Dodgers come back and tie it and maybe lose after? I don't know. But I get the feeling that there's still some drama left to come. But as we stated, Shohei Ohtani's got 1 arm right now. And the longer the series goes, the more that becomes a problem for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Like, I don't know how he's swinging a bat. He can barely run. And, you know, Freddie Freeman's been super hot. You know, can Freddie step up one last time? The top of the Dodgers order is going to be coming up soon, so we'll see if they can do some damage. But we got a fun game, and like I said, some people haven't really enjoyed this series unless you're a Dodger fan. Now at least there's something to pay attention to, and you got some drama in New York right now. So we told you about the basketball game. We're on the Pelicans. Pelicans are leading a Curry and Wiggins-less Golden State Warriors 14-8 early right now in the basketball game. The Kings are up 61-52 on the Jazz. And Nuggets are up 133-127 in overtime. We got a track meet there, but we got a hockey game that's about to start. So let's get to this while we're on a commercial break of the baseball game. Let's bring in Andrew McKinnis and Cam Stewart. McKinnis, good to see you. Cam, good to see you. McKinnis, I'll start with you. What do you think of this L.A. Kings and San Jose Shark game tonight?
Well, I mean, I was happy for the Sharks to finally get their first win the other night because I was starting to think they weren't going to win a game till Christmas. But the fact of the matter is, can they string together 2 games in a row? That's the old adage, right? Can you do it again? Can you do it back-to-back nights? Now, LA had a road trip. It was a big, big road trip. After that, they kind of came back to earth a little bit. They settled down a little bit. This, to me, is actually an under game. I know it's hard to believe involving the San Jose Sharks. I think we get a good, solid defensive effort out of the LA Kings. I think the Sharks go back to struggling to score. Give me the under in this one, Gabe. I don't usually like rooting for boring games, but I feel like this one might be one of those.
What do you have? An even 6 for your total? What's your total?
6, yeah.
An even 6. You say under in the game. Cam, what's your pick for the LA Kings and the San Jose Sharks?
I like the Kings, Gabe, in regulation, but I'm going to say this. Because it's not 6.5, I would have taken the under, but at 6, I'm going to take the over in this game, and hopefully it plays out, and we'll see what happens. San Jose gives up a lot of goals, and they look like they could score a little bit too. We'll see what happens, but McKinnis might be onto something. They probably don't want to get into a back and forth game with the Kings, but at 6, I got to take a shot with the over. I think LA probably wins the game. I'm thinking like 5-2, 5-3.
I'll say a regulation line though is -200 for the LA Kings because the Kings are minus. It's -200 to win in 60 minutes. That's just far too high for me. I'm going to play the LA Kings -1.5, -125 in this game. And I brought it up earlier. The Kings have been dominant over the San Jose Sharks over the years, 8-2 in the last 10. There have been a couple of close games along the way. But as you stated, McKinnis, so the Sharks get it done last night. You want to talk, I find travel at times can be overrated or some of this road home stuff is over talked about. But Utah is one of the strangest road trips in the freaking league right now, if not like the most, right? It's a strange place to go to play. You're not used to going there. You're certainly not used to the altitude, and you got a quick turnaround after. So listen, the Sharks are a very young team, and Utah to California is not the end of the world, but it's not an ideal scheduling spot for them tonight. Like the Kings should be able to take advantage of this. I like where you're going, like 4-1 Kings, I'll say. I like your sort of lower score.
There's going to be a big crowd of people that are going to be, I don't know about big crowd, but there's going to be a crowd of people that are going to say, wow, they're going to really build off that. Build off what? What are they building off of? Like saving some pride, saving some sense of like, they're an NHL team. Like, I don't know what they're building off of, but a back-to-back.
What's your vitriol towards the San Jose Sharks? I don't hear too many people saying they're going to build on anything.
I don't like it, Gabe. SJ Sharkey line 3. There was no need for that. They came back down multiple goals to Utah and won, McKinnis. Cut them some slack. They do suck. They are obviously the worst team in the National Hockey League. But Gabe, they showed some real guts in that game. They could have rolled over. Not only did they come back, they finished the job. So sometimes young teams, McInnes, when you play sports, I know they're not that good. They're probably thinking, hey, we actually won a game. Like, kind of looking at San Jose, it can go the other way and go, you know what? Maybe we just come out and play well tonight. But it's hard to back these guys, Morency, back to back. And I was
I'm more of McInnes. They won a game, and now they're not going to win a game for another 10 days.
But you're not angry like he is. I didn't like the way he came at you. You're right. Visceral reaction to the SJ Sharks.
Cam, there's a hidden story behind it, though. When I used to be on, when it was just me and Gabe, the Sharks would screw me every week. It was a Tuesday night curse. I would tell Gabe, I'm going to fade the crap out of the Sharks. Like, he'd ask me just like he just did. And no matter who they were playing, the Sharks just played well. So I feel like, the Sharks kind of bothered me the past few years. So I kind of have it out for them now,
Remember they did this last year, though. They lost their first 10, 11 games or whatever. And then there were little pockets within the season where the Sharks would have a good 10 days or 2 weeks where, you could bet on them a bit and make some money because they're like, plus 425 and these stupid, huge prices. But, man, the Kings, that's a big number right now. So the game just started. It's down to 300. It's minus 300 LA Kings right now. And I think what just happened, something might have just happened early here, is that they just locked it. They give me a Kings
penalty.
goal, like 30 seconds.
Could be a penalty.
King score 5 seconds in, new record. Oh,
it is a penalty, a power play for the San Jose Sharks.
See,
and the price just fell to minus 280, just like that.
Ooh, what a number.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bustler, but everybody else in between. The World Series continues. And, I don't want to really be a spoiled diva about this, but I don't like this game. I'm not enjoying it in the same way I've enjoyed the other games of this series. And it reminds me of the Michigan Wolverines against the Washington Huskies. Like, I expected Michigan to win like 42-0 or something. So I remember I was like just sort of mad that it was close all night. But the Yankees, they had to break through at some point. They did. Volpe with the big base running error. And, man, they're a bad base running team, this team. And, they got saved. They play for the long ball, but, repeatedly. They don't adjust ever to Yankee hitters, so they finally broke through. So here's Ohtani, who's got one arm right now, batting in a 6-4 game. We're in the 7th inning. It's getting real for the Dodgers right now. So this could potentially be the last time for Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman in this game. So big at bat for Ohtani. He's due for an impact play. I have him to hit a home run, and I had him to hit a home run in the first to hit the first home run of the game. But I think I've underestimated his injury a little bit. This would be a massive this. This is pretty much it. I think this inning right now, unless somebody comes through late. So 6-4 here, still scoreless in the and they strike Ohtani out. Ohtani chases. He's not himself right now. You can see the Kings kill off the power play. All right, so we'll keep our eye on this. We've got college football going on. I don't know if you guys got any action on this Conference USA action tonight. Real classic going on with Sam Houston State and La Tech, 9-3 right now. We got Louisiana Tech plus 10 in this game. They're currently plus 6.5. In-game total, 21.5. And Lafayette are up 17-14 on Texas State. I'm on Lafayette plus 7. That looks good, but we're on over 59.5, which is not looking good right now. Late in the third quarter, we're only at 31 points in this game. And for people that are suffering with this college football crap on Tuesdays, this is it for the Conference USA tonight. They're not going to be on anymore after this. This is their last TV night of the year, mercifully so. And the MAC will be on TV for the rest of the year on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Dave.
The MAC is back next week.
Yes, we wanted you, MAC. KCUSA, go away. I'm so sick
I love how
of
they
these
wait for the
teams.
MAC when the weather is terrible. They're like,
I
let's
know.
wait till it's really bad weather and we'll
You're
go
right.
up there to central Michigan.
Is it
Go up there to
32
Mount
degrees
Pleasant.
or under?
Mount
Yeah,
Pleasant,
please.
Michigan. I've been up there. It's not pretty.
How's the weather in Kalamazoo, Morency? It's perfect football weather. I'm with you. I'm done with
Mount Pleasant. I like how they always
another-
name these things. How is
I
it
know.
pleasant? It's like
soft.
you see these apartment hotels in LA and stuff ocean view. It's like there ain't no ocean. You're in the middle of the hood. There ain't no ocean view. Ocean view condo. It's like, no, it's not. You can call it the Ocean View Suites if you want. You don't see there's an ocean in the city, but you don't see it from here.
The
There's
best
always
is these-
names like that.
Yes,
Same in
yes.
Vancouver. Pacific Ocean Coast Building. It's like you can't even see it. I don't know what you're talking about.
They showed Kalamazoo, Morency, and it's like a big shot. And I'm like, oh, there's Chuck E. Cheese. I'm like, wow, there's a plaza there.
They can't do the skyline shots with Mac kids can.
They don't.
What are they going to do? Here's the local mall, and here's City Hall. Here's the mall. There's the fire station.
Yeah, there's a Chevron station there, and then Chuck E. Cheese.
I'd come up with some story if I was a producer. I'd say this fire station's been here since 1868, and you do a feature on it.
Amazing.
It's like whenever there's a football game in Buffalo, they only show skyline shots of Niagara Falls. That's basically it. All right, so 6-4 in this baseball game, and the drama continues here in the Bronx. And speaking of drama, there's always drama around McInnes's former favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and the New York Football Jets. They're on TV on Thursday. There's no baseball no matter what happens on Thursday. So the Jets and the Texans, Thursday night football. Stephon Diggs going to be out for the year. Big day today in the NFL. Anthony Richardson has been benched by Steichen and the Colts. They're going with Joe Flacco. They're in Minneapolis on Sunday night. Deontay Johnson gets let out of jail of the Carolina Panthers and is now on the Baltimore Ravens, so it's a good day for him. And Stephon Diggs, bad week for the Diggs brothers. Trayvon Diggs asked a local reporter after the game how do these ask about these nuts, of course. Got into it with a local guy. And Stephon Diggs now out for the year, but I still like the Houston Texans in this football game.
look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, 6-4 for the New York Yankees. We're going to the bottom of the seventh inning right now. Yankees are minus 1,200 on the money line. The Dodgers are plus 700. In-game total 11.5. The series price. Odds makers are not impressed with a potential Yankees win. The Dodgers are still a minus 1,100 to win the series. Yankees are plus 650 to win the series right now. Still scoreless in the Bay. LA Kings and the San Jose Sharks in-game total now sitting at 5.5, minus 145 to the under. And NBA basketball, we did grab the Pelicans tonight, and a strong start for the Pels, 31-14 up on the Warriors. No Curry, no Wiggins tonight. And, of course, Klay Thompson's on the Dallas Mavericks right now. And I'm glad I didn't bet this game, actually, because I thought, you know what, maybe I'll look at the Utah Jazz tonight plus 5.5 points. But I did not bet it. And it's 79-64 for the Sacramento Kings in North America's hottest building, Utah. A hockey game there last night and a basketball game there, man. Like, this is Salt Lake's never been as rocking as it is. And I love how they sold more beers. I don't even know that, McKinnis. They sold more beers in that first hockey game than they did for any event ever before that was ever in that arena.
We talked about it. Yeah, but
any concert,
we were saying
any Utah Jazz game, they blew it out of the water.
But you had to buy it in certain parts of the arena, and all these some weird rules.
Yeah, remember we weren't impressed by the
chugging
tally.
beers.
They sold $180,000 worth of beer. It's like, that's really not a lot.
Deal.
Like, for a hockey game.
But then again, if you're a local brewer in Utah,
dude, if the Leafs sold $180K of beer,
they'd snap.
They would be like, all right, who robbed that other $3.8 million?
Exactly.
Where's the money?
Chuck Gary's
like,
Econoline
lock
man.
the building. Someone just stole
$5
$5 million of the beer money. Like, you know what I mean?
He's got
180K. The Leafs wouldn't notice 180K gone. They'd be like, what?
Hey, who stole the beer? Hey, man.
I want to know what the under-over is. What's the over-under line on the three of us? How many beers are we deleting at a Leafs game together, the three of us together? I mean, what's that line set at?
I don't drink beers at games, but I do drink drinks. I can tell you. Well, I don't really want to admit it, actually, publicly, when I say I could tell you. But at the football game, don't forget. So the Seahawks game, I was at the back end, right, of a long weekend, right? So, and another thing is, It was the most sober I've ever arrived at an NFL game for. I don't like it on the West Coast when it's that early. You know what I mean? I woke up at like 8, 9 a.m. and I was like, all right. I ate breakfast and I forced myself. I crushed a few White Claws before I got into the Uber. And, but at the game, I thought about the other day. At the game, I think I drank, it was like 10 or 12 cans, but the kind of the big ones.
Yeah, I like those ones.
I think I was drinking the Mike's Hard iced tea. They were going down real smooth, too. It was nice in the rain. I was just drinking like iced teas.
You're right about that, Gabe. That drink is really good because it gives you that soft punch. It's like a little bit of a wake-up call.
Well,
it's one of those drinks that gets you into the flow. I like that.
Well, you know what I noticed? You know, I was buying, they had like the White Claws, or they had the Bud Light seltzers, whatever, the same things, whatever, the knockoff. But if you go to a game, you don't want to get one drink at a time because it's pointless. You got to go back, you know what I mean? So I get 2 at a time, but it loses the carbonation cam. It gets more quick, those drinks. Those drinks taste like crap when they're not
because they crack them. Right?
They're only good right away the first few sips. That's like, it's disgusting.
Why do you think they do that?
So the iced tea I caught on, I was like, man, this iced tea stays cooler, and the taste is still the same because it's not carbonated. No carbonation in that iced tea stuff, right?
Move. Carbonation equals warm equals buy more, got a pound. And I'm going to tell you this. If you're a brewer if you're in Utah, Gabe, and you and McInnes own like the brewery, you're like, thank God for the Utah Hockey Club. Because people who go to hockey games drink. Like, you've literally changed your life. Like, if you're the one beer distributor in like the state of Utah and you got the license at the hockey game, you've basically said jackpot because there's nobody else drinking. It's amazing. Like, I'd love to be that guy with that deal. Oh my God.
Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
I've got a nice shot here.
I've been thinking about it.
I've got a nice shot. Here's
they're drinking different stuff at basketball games, probably, right?
It's amazing.
There's the football game.
I haven't been to that stadium, Gabe. I've only been to the Kingdome. I went to the old Seahawks game, in the Kingdome when I was a kid. So I'd love it.
Look, it's beautiful in there. Look, it's
beautiful stadium. Looks gorgeous.
Oh no, really, I was really impressed. Yeah. Really impressed with the stadium. But at the Dodger game, I've talked a lot about the classic Dodgeritas. And the Dodgeritas were going down pretty easy at the World Series the other night. And here's a nice shot of me in a Dodgerita. See, it's like a big Vegas drink.
Gabe, I give you respect, man. It seems like you always make friends with everybody around you. I love that. That's what sports are all about, man. When the World Juniors were in Halifax a couple years ago, everybody was buddies. No matter who, if you knew them, you didn't know them, it was just a celebration. It was awesome.
I was telling that Cam the other day, most people that go to these games are pretty cool because, dude, tickets are so expensive nowadays. You know what I mean?
Can't be in a bad mood, right? Why are you going to be in a bad mood?
No, and also, like, it's sort of like more successful people or older couples
they're not
or whatever. Like, it's not like
dirtbags.
It's not like going to like Monday Night Raw or something, like in Montreal.
Monday Night
in
Raw,
the 80s.
you're like, oh my God, where'd my wallet go? Next thing you know, like the guy's like threatening you with a razor blade there. What?
You sort of see like the grease balls coming off the subway. You'd be like, oh, remember when we were scalpers? Other scalpers like, oh God, it's wrestling tonight? Oh no. Like,
that's the best. The scalpers like that wrestling crew.
Oh, they're like, these guys are so greasy. They're all so dirty. They were like. I remember the scalpers were like, they'd be like 5 feet away, Cam, with a ticket. So they'd be like, yeah, here's your ticket, bro.
Best.
Like,
when the
stay away
scalpers
from me.
are like, the wrestling crew's greasy.
Yeah, the scalpers are all greasy
greasy.
sleazeballs too to begin with.
Exactly. Well, that wrestling crew must have like no class, no tact.
Yeah. I swear to God, they're like an army coming down. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen a well-dressed scalper. I think it might be part of the system that they have to dress homeless so they can get more sales or something like that. But I don't think I've ever seen a guy selling tickets that didn't look like he needed someone to buy them. Like, I swear to God, I don't think I've ever seen.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
It is. Morency was probably the best dressed scalper. Some of those guys are wearing like 30-year-old jeans and bad shoes.
No, but it's true. I swear to God, too, and I know this, and I can tell you, attest this. Every city, there's always a scalper you'll notice, like, that has like a limp. Like you're bang on because there's always gonna be some like old dudes like with a bunch of health problems like walking around.
So true.
They got the stack of tickets because they've been around forever. But trust me, there's the nice dressed ones are sitting in the car a block away waiting for their money, bro. It's the way this thing works. All right. These scalpers are like drug dealers. You get the tickets, you go back to the man, give me some more. Like, say, trust me, I know this business. All right. So there's there's people in nice cars and BMWs.
I just love your
all
line.
kinds of stuff a block away waiting in the car.
The scalper's like, oh no, it's the wrestling crew tonight.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
But it's funny what Gabe was talking about
They
with
like
the
heavy metal shows they weren't a fan of.
Oh, amazing.
You were saying people that have stuff going for them, going to the games, so you're not going to get in trouble and stuff like that. And so for me, like, I know I don't go to a ton of pro games like you guys and stuff, and I'm not living in the city to do that. But when Nathan McKinnon was playing for the local junior team where I live, the amount of scalpers that were just ripping off families, I just felt so bad, like just watching them like walk in and like it's like 10,900 people max capacity, and these scalpers are smiling ear to ear. This family wants their kid to see Nathan McKinnon for the first time, and they're paying like $150 for a junior game. It was sad to see. It's tough. It's tough.
Hey, if you don't like that, move to North Korea. That's capitalism, baby.
Hey, it's how it works. Supply and demand, baby.
150 for junior move to North Korea. That's amazing.
Oh, you're right. Well, no, how about I remember the viewing party for the Vancouver Canucks when they were on the road in the playoffs. People were scalping them for like $150. Same thing.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Well, the Yankees are getting it done right now, 6-4, and the Dodgers are not coming back, and they're running out of outs to give. We're into the top of the eighth inning right now. There's 2 outs in the top of the eighth. Here comes Teoscar Hernandez to the plate. They just need to get a guy on. My take on this, too, I think that it was a little easy for the Dodgers. You know what I mean? I think it was one of those deals, a little bit easier than they thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. All right. And they said all the right things about, no, we're trying to win tonight. But Dave Roberts kind of, I don't want to say he conceded the game tonight, but all right, we started a kid that's played 6 games in his life before and pitched a couple innings. He actually got out of it, but I don't know. It seemed, and Roberts told Ken Rosenthal before that they're saving all their good arms. So it was almost like let's just see what happens here, and then we're going to be locked and loaded for the rest of the series. And I would have liked a little bit of a killer instinct, a little bit more. Whatever. They've done a great job. I just saying I would have gotten Hudson out of there. You can see. Joe Davis is doing the play-by-play for this, actually the Dodgers guy as well in the regular season, and he's the Fox National guy too. But he said Hudson doesn't have his stuff tonight. He knew, and even he knew. And it was like, dude, the bases are loaded. Get him out of here right now. We can get out of this still because the Yankees keep screwing this up. It is what it is. But the Yankees have a little bit of mojo right now. The crowd's into it. They're getting people out. They're down. Dodgers only have 4 outs to give here. So let's get into some football right now. So I already said, me personally, we can hit this game more tomorrow on the show, but hard not to like the Houston Texans. People keep waiting for the Jets and keep thinking this is the week for the Jets. This is the week for the Jets. And there is no week for the Jets. The Jets just are not a very good football team. And no disrespect to Stephon Diggs, but it was kind of a weird signing for them in the first place to bring him in. I didn't think they really needed him. And I know that Tank Dell hasn't had the same type of production, but now that Diggs isn't there, I think he could. So I'm not overly panicked by the fact that Diggs isn't playing in this game. And on the flip side of all that, the Houston Texans defense are going to terrorize Aaron Rodgers and that Jet offense. The Jet offense is bad. So me personally, I don't understand the line, McKinnis, but that game is the Thursday nighter. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't even be talking about it. But it's the Thursday nighter. But I'm looking forward to your Green Bay Packers against the Detroit Lions this week. And Jordan Love has been beat up a little bit this year, so you're getting this big number right now. What do you think of the Packer and the Lion game?
I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. I think this Packers team has been able to kind of battle through some adversity, and I think it's been what I've been saying since the start of the season. It's kind of been that next man up mentality. Who would have thought that Kraft would have the season he's had? Some of the plays he's been able to make is keeping this team alive. But unfortunately, Gabe, whenever I don't have a strong feeling about the Packers and I don't want to go against them, it usually means people should go against them. I don't feel good about this one. If I was to play this game, I actually would probably play the Detroit Lions in this one, despite them being on the road and laying it. I do think the over is the play in that one because I think both teams are going to score, but the defense is giving up points right now. Back to that game about the Jets. That's also a total pick for me. I like the under. You talked about the Jets, who's going to believe in them anymore? They're a team that's kind of fallen down. Look, I get it, but you talk about the injuries with the Texans. I don't want to pick a side in this one because I know if I don't pick the Jets, they might win because I've been betting them like the last 5 weeks, it feels like. So give me the under 42.5 in that one. And there's one team that's been driving me crazy, and I have to take them again. They are driving me crazy, guys, and that's the Titans. I have to take them again. This is a team for me that is going to be, going from playing 2 really respectable teams, 2 really respectable offenses. And I know it sounds like I'm chasing, but now you get an opportunity to play a team that pretty much relies on their defense. I'll take them to get the job done. Kind of a buy low spot if you ask me on this one. And I'll throw it back to you with this, guys. One guy that people aren't thinking about that probably feels pretty good right now, he's not a starter, but Zach Wilson. Because guess what? He did just as good, if not better, when he was the starting quarterback for the Jets. And I know things are different. Yeah, way better. So I know things are different, and it's funny to create those headlines and the clickbait stuff. But at the same time, numbers are what they are. Rodgers makes some nice long balls every now and then. When it comes down to it, Zach Wilson has more career wins in one season so far. Has done better in seasons than Rodgers has.
Yeah, they were 4-3 after 7 weeks with Zach Wilson. You can't dispute that, but you also can't dispute that Zach Wilson was terrible too. So, but I think it leads into giving Aaron Rodgers all the control of the franchise hasn't paid off, right? Like that's sort of at least before Aaron Rodgers wasn't in control. It was just sort of Zach Wilson and you were playing through it. It's been a complete disaster. And I don't have any confidence they're going to be able to flick the switch. Like this would be a terrible loss for the Houston Texans to lose this football game. Some interesting numbers this week. in the NFL. So, McKinnis, you say you can't resist the Titans and the Patriots game. Wow. That's like this is bottom of the barrel football here right now. That game.
It really is, Gabe. And I'm a bottom of the barrel type guy. I got to be honest with you, though, Morency. I was wrong about Carolina, and I got off, and I've been fading them hard since. Like, it doesn't matter what the number is, unless you give me like 20 plus. They're an unbettable football team. They just suck. But I'll tell you, Tennessee, if there's any spots, I'm with you, McKinnis. Me and you, buddy, we're together in this one. 3, the line was 3.5 down to 3. I hope Brissett starts. I don't even care who starts. This is the week for Tennessee, Morency. And if they can't get it done, they're on the banned list like the Panthers. This is it. This is your final call, Tennessee.
I love it. Steve Merrill, you guys know Steve, of course, friend of the show. He was reading off these analytical stats today on a Wager Talk program, pretty much talking about there was like some 250-0 angle or something like that for a team that put up the same numbers against this other team, and talk about the Patriots versus Jets. And if you would have showed people these analytical numbers and not showed them the score, you would have thought the Jets dominated the Patriots. And the fact that the Patriots are winning some games and the fact that they've looked respectable over the past few weeks, it's shocking. But to me, this is just a buy low spot. I can't believe we're shocking people with this game, but I got to take them again. I got to do it.
I'll tell you, though, it's not going to be like it's one of those things, McKinnis, like Gabe says, I'm taking them, but hold our breath. But I love Tennessee, and loving in Tennessee don't go together. It's probably, I might have buyer's remorse at 407. Yeah.
And give me the Cowboys, too. Give me the
Just
Cowboys.
for the record.
I love the Cowboys, too. Wow.
I don't endorse or support the thoughts and comments that Cam Stewart and McKinnis.
And Adam,
they're free to their opinion. They're free to their opinion.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, 2 mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We've got a couple of more minutes with Andrew McKinnis. Loud Esmond will join us, and I met Loud the other night in Seattle, actually, at the sports book. We got the World Series right now. We're into the bottom of the 8th inning. The Dodgers are going to have 1 at-bat left coming up. 3 outs to give, trailing 6-4. There's 1 out right now. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Yankees up 6-4. Quick check, NBA basketball, Pelicans and the Warriors. The Warriors have gone on a run, 42-37 right now. Okay, before we get McKinnis out of here, we got the CFL playoffs this Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. The Ottawa Redblacks are in the 6 to take on the Argos. The Argos are 6-point favorites in this game. The total is 52.5. Redblacks are plus 255 on the money line. And then the BC Lions take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders at 6:30 Eastern time following the first game. In the Western semifinal, Roughriders minus 3.5-point favorites. Total is 51. What do you like in the CFL, McKinnis?
Gabe, it almost seems poetic. I mean, the team that I talk smack about all season long here on SportsRage, I'm putting my money on them. I hope they have my back, but I'm taking the Ottawa Redblacks this weekend. They're getting too many points, man, and I think this is a spot here to back them. And the thing is about this number, it's only going to go up. You know, some spots have 6.5. We're seeing a few 6 and 7s even. 6, 6.5, 7. Shop around, get the best number you possibly can. The biggest thing I'm targeting here is the Argos defense. Look, this Argos team might be talented offensively. They might have a run game. They might have Chad Kelly after all he's gone through the past year and a half. When it comes down to it, forget about it. I'm worried about their defense right now. Some injuries they've had, and just in general. You know, giving up 31 points against the Redblacks the last meeting, give up close to that in the late 20s in the earlier meeting this season, giving up a ton of points to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, to the Alouettes. If this team gives up 24-plus points this weekend to the Redblacks are certainly covering. Let's not forget Drew Brown, a quarterback nobody really gives credit to in the CFL. When healthy, he's a pretty good quarterback, and he's healthy right now. Played well last week for them. I think he will this weekend. Plus 6.5 for the Redblacks. And a small lean for me. I have not gotten to the window with it yet on the Saskatchewan Roughriders first half. I don't trust them for the full game, but I trust them to play well on their home field. First half, get the job done. Come out very organized. Veteran quarterback Trevor Harris. Just to me, BC, Grey Cup hosts, you know, different quarterback every week, it seems like. They act like Nathan Rourke was a Super Bowl MVP or something like that, going to come and just go undefeated. I think FanDuel Canada had like plus 180 on the BC Lions at one point. I don't know what kind of joke that was, but the fact of the matter is they've been a really, really bipolar football team lately. I don't trust them early in games. I'll take Saskatchewan -2 first half.
Cam, what's your pick for the Argos and the Redblacks?
I'm with McKinnis. I like the over and I like the dog. I like the Redblacks to cover 6, 6.5. Morency, I think it's going to be a very tight game, and you can't lay those that number with the Argos. I disagree on the other game. I don't care about the first half or whatever. Give me BC plus 3.5.
I do agree with you guys. I think there'll be points in the Redblack and Argo game, but I'll take the other side of this. And I've been a big Redblack guy. Earlier in the year, they were playing good football, but it was very more situational. And you were kind of right, McKinnis, in a way. They weren't really great, but every week they played an injured team. They played a team off a weird scheduling spot, and give them credit. They won the games. But reality started to sort of, you know, kick in a little bit. And I think reality, this is going to be another reality check. The Argos own Ottawa, guys. They've beaten them 6 out of the last 7 times they played, 8 out of the last 10 times that they played. The Argos have won 4 of their last 5 football games. They didn't care. The Argos didn't care about their last game of the regular season that they lost. They weren't, you know what I mean? They didn't even play. They didn't play their starters. So the Argos are clicking. You talked about the defense, McKinnis, of the Argos. Yeah, they've given up some points. What you didn't bring up is that the Argos offense has scored 30 or more points in 4 of their last 5 football games too. I think this is where, like, the Argos dial it up. Like, I personally think the Argos could beat the Alouettes next week too. I think the Alouettes are have to be on upset alert. The CFL is a wild league. I don't think it'll be easy for Montreal being off for a couple of weeks. I don't think it's ideal because Chad Kelly's not a likable person. But the fact is, they're a good football team. They're stacked. Like, they have more talent than the Ottawa Redblacks do. And I personally think it'll show. And you guys know me. Normally I don't like laying 6 points, but I think Toronto will cover. They'll win by like 10 or something.
And Montreal hasn't played meaningful football in what it feels like since July 30th, right? It's been a big problem for Cody Fajardo. He's played like 2 out of the last 6 weeks, right, Gabe? That's a real problem. And for the record, I'm not saying the Redblacks win. I'm saying they cover.
Cover.
Andrew McKinnis, wager talk.
look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency. The New York Yankees up 6-4, trying to add on another insurance run here in the bottom of the eighth inning. They've got runners on second and third, and there's one out right now. So there's some drama in the Bronx, and it looks like we're going to have another game tomorrow night, Flaherty and Garrett Cole. So suddenly we could potentially have a series on our hands here. College football, I would say we got a real classic going on, but that would be live. 9-3. Sam Houston State up 9-3 on Louisiana Tech. As I stated, the MAC will be back next week on national television. But I don't mind this right now because I'm on Louisiana Tech plus 10 points in this football game, and they're down by 6 right now with 2 minutes left, and they have the football. Meanwhile, we're on Lafayette plus the points as well, but we're on the over. We're not going to hit the over. It's 23-17 with 5 minutes left in the game unless they get a touchdown and miss the extra point and blah, 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 blah. But we are covering the point spread right now with the dog. We got more college football coming at you this week, along with the World Series. It looks like Loud Esmond's in the house, and me and Loud hooked up on Sunday night, although he got me on the back end, like he got me on the 19th hole after Friday night, Saturday travel, Seattle. I got left on the side of the road. I had to find an Uber at a Jack in the Box. Yeah. It was quite the adventure, but it was nice to meet you on Sunday night.
An Uber at a Jack in the Box.
Yeah, it was always something. It could have been worse, but, it is what it is. It's always something to be happening with me. And I did like the property, but I got to tell you, like when I woke up like Monday morning, I was like, damn, man, this place is further than I remembered it. Because all the other times I was kind of drunk. Like I was like, coming back from the game, or I was fired up going to the game. So there I was in the morning going to the airport. But it was great seeing you. I actually enjoyed the Muckleshoot property. The Yankees have added another run on the board, 7-4, which really, 2 runs was possible. 3 is tough. But, yeah, it was nice meeting you, Loud, on Sunday night. Too bad I wasn't there longer, but good stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting here in Washington. It's an old school sports book experience where you go somewhere and you get a real ticket, and that's the only way to bet legally in Washington State. I have a casino closer to me that I really like. It's Little Creek. Next time you come out, I'll get you staying at Little Creek Casino Resort. It's a little bit closer to everything, and it's definitely closer to me, and it's kind of a smaller property. I like a smaller sports book where you can make small talk with the guys at the desk, taking the tickets. It's, kind of, and I'm old school Vegas, that's where I learned sports betting. So walking up to a window and getting the ticket and then being able to walk up right after the game and cash it, that's still kind of my preferred way to play. And that's the way it is here in Washington State. There's no online gaming in Washington State is illegal. So if you're going to bet, you have to actually go to a sportsbook property.
I enjoy it too. I've been betting for so long and I've done all the different types, like you said, this and that. And I love the cash aspect of it. But at the same point in time, it's frustrating because I was at the window and I was like, yeah, I want to put this much on that, but I can't just click it, right? When you can just click and you got money in your account, you just click it.
Right.
It's different, Loud and Cam, when it's real paper money coming out of your pocket. You know
Exactly,
so,
Gabe. Why do they give you tips at the blackjack table?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I was at the window and I was like, I put 500 on the bills. I went up. I was like, give me 500 on the bills. And I was like, yeah, give me 250 on this. And I'm betting. And then I was out of money suddenly. I was like, well, what's going on here? And I'm like, well, you only had 1,400 on you, bro. You don't walk around with 8 dimes. Like, I just gave him $1,400. I was like, so I sort of walked away from the window dejected, feeling like a loser. I was like, man, I really didn't get everything in I wanted to here. And I had other people, I could hear them hush talking behind me. They're like, man, this guy's betting big. They were all looking at me and stuff. There's a lot of people there, Cam. It was like, all these sports books are the same, Loud and Cam, but I swear it's just like MetLife in New York. Sunday morning, bro, there was dudes taking like 10 minutes at the window, 12. Like, dude, one guy, it was like his ticket was this long, guys. I even said to him, damn, how many teams you got on that? He's like, 16. It's like, God, bro, like, good luck. Like, yeah, you're not going to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
those guys take up all day, too. It's like, it's almost like the grocery line game.
No, the worst, though, they make it up at the window. Like, show up with it and tell them, bang, bang. They stand there like he's, oh, what about the Eagles? What's that now? And then they make it up on the spot.
I hate
that. All in all, I did enjoy it. I got to tell you, though, that Muckleshoot place, man, it was like Sunday morning at 8 a.m., and their place was banging. And it wasn't like football people. Like, people playing those slots, like, man, those properties in Washington are raking it in, man. People are really gambling a lot, I'll tell you that. So the baseball game has been blown open right now. And the New York Yankees have put an explanation point on this. But the good news is I jumped in on an over 12.5 earlier in this game. And now it's 10-4 for the New York Yankees in the bottom of the 8th inning. So it's a blowout, 10-4. Dodgers still remain 11-1 favorites to win the series. The Yankees are plus 650 right now. There's football, too. As I stated, we're down to the final moments here. And Texas State are in trouble, actually. Lafayette have the football, and they're up 6 with 3 minutes left. So let's take a look at we got some college football tomorrow night. And, of course, Loud, it was last week that the Liberty Flames' 17-game regular season win streak came to a crashing thud against a Kennesaw State football team that has never beaten an FBS program before, and they freaking beat the Liberty Flames as 27-point underdogs.
Yeah, and now you've got Kennesaw State, the Owls. They've only been in Division I since 2010. They're taking on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers Wednesday night at Hutchins Industries LT Smith Stadium. This is a 7:30 Eastern kick. The Hilltoppers are a prohibitive 24.5-point spread favorite. Game total is at 49. Now, do the math on that. Kennesaw State 1-6 against the spread. Of course, their one win was against as we said, Liberty last week. As I'm watching Sam Houston State return an interception for a touchdown.
Oh my God. Wow. You can't make this up. I've got Louisiana Tech plus 10. This is like the only thing that could have gotten me at the end because down by 6.
I'm on Sam Houston. So just saying, I had just texted a bunch of my friends and I can't believe I was dumb enough to take Sam Houston again. Anyway, so the Owls, still they beat Liberty. They average 15 points a game, which is 132nd. They have turned the ball over 12 times. That's 80th worst. They convert 40.8% of their third down attempts. They're bad. They're just bad on offense. Now, their defense allows 31 points per game and 402.6 yards, both above the 100 worst and they're playing the Hilltoppers average almost 30 points a game, and they surrender only about 22 points a game. Now, this is a weird stat. The Hilltoppers' opponents convert 52.4% of their third downs, which is very good defense on third down, which is terrible defense on third down, but they have the number 2 red zone defense against scoring behind only Armies. I don't know how that works. How is it you're so good on third down defense and so bad at the red zone defense? Anyway, Western Kentucky only scores 28 points per game. They're a 24.5-point favorite. I can't do it. I'm going to have to go with the Kennesaw State plus the 24.5. It just looks like they're figuring it out a little bit.
The Red Hot Owls. How can you pass them up?
Red Hot Owls.
Looking for a consecutive win streak, cover of 2. Yankees really blowing this open, 11-4 right now. We're going to have a game 5 in the Bronx.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, God. Yankees Twitter's just already, blowing up already. The comeback is on. And I'm going to have to deal with this for another 24 hours. I really don't want this series to go into Friday. It's going to be a long week. I can live with it. End it tomorrow. Fine. End it in New York. But this thing goes to Friday. Suddenly we got a long week on our hands of suspense, although it'll be entertaining. But we thought the Dodgers in 6 before the series started. I always had the feeling that Yamamoto was going to be on the hill, would be the guy in that game. So tomorrow would be Flaherty, then Yamamoto, and then potentially a Walker Buehler sighting in Game 7, but we're not there yet. But we are going to 5, that's for sure. We'll get you the number in a couple of moments. The football game, wild ending here. There was a turnover and a touchdown, but it's been it was overruled. Down by contact, it was Sam Houston State ball allowed, and just like that, the cover was on the line. Listen, I've always said this. It's like if you bet on MMA, that's not the UFC. If you bet on some other, lower tier league, you bet on whacked out stuff, you're going to get whacked out like endings. And you bet on these football games, this stuff, you're going to get, whacked out plays like that. Can't believe that the entire cover came down to that one play. They win by 6 instead of 13.
No, I'm handicapping these midweek because I know on Tuesday nights, you guys have all week to bring in people and handicap the Saturday games, the Sunday NFL slate. So, I'm like taking on these midweek games. I've got another one for you tomorrow night, Conference USA, Jacksonville State and Liberty. The Gamecocks opened losing 3. They're going now for their 5th consecutive win when they face Liberty Flames, who about had the worst loss in college football last week. Kennesaw State is absolutely terrible, and they managed to lose to them to drop to 5-1. They were talking about college football playoff. Yeah, good luck with that now. The Gamecocks, meanwhile, are coming off a 42-20 win over Middle Tennessee State. And, of course, the Flames are coming in off that loss. Now, Jacksonville State averages almost 40 points a game. They're pretty balanced on offense in both the run and the pass, but they're not very good on defense. They give up almost 30 points a game. Liberty can score, not last week, but usually, and they average 31.8 points per game. They throw for 215.3 yards and rush for 225. Again, very balanced. They've played much better on defense than J State. They're only giving up 22.2 points per game, but last week they gave up 27 to Kennesaw State, who averages 15 points a game. So it's a weird one to try to figure out. Now, here's where there are some interesting stats that are leading me towards my choice here. I was tempted to take Liberty, but after last week and the fact that they are lousy against the spread, they are 1-5 against the spread on the season, Liberty. Liberty ranks 8th among FBS teams for average point differential in the fourth quarter. So they score a lot in the fourth quarter. Jacksonville State also scores a lot of points in the third quarter. Now, this number on the over is big. It's 63.5, but I am betting on the over because I think we're going to see a couple of late scores that take us to the over in that game.
Yeah, Jacksonville State, you are right about that. They're a good second-half team. They're kind of slow starters, and then they pile it on. Their offense has been on a roll right now, Jacksonville State. 42, yes. 54, 63, 44, 34. Like they've been putting up 34-plus routinely. Liberty, as you stated, they score 31 points a game, but it's an ugly 31 points. The offense isn't clicking like it has in past years. Salter's not having a good year. The wide receivers don't get open. It's all about the Cooley kid, the running back, and it's very predictable. Like they give it to the back, and they hope that he can just sort of, bail them out. And as you stated, Liberty had been good in the fourth quarter, Loud, and because Liberty had been trailing all the time. Like they played with fire all year long, and they always came back, and you know what I mean? They'd pull it out. I figured they'd do the same thing against Kennesaw State. They couldn't. This is 1,000,000% gut check time for Liberty, right? Coming off their first loss in a regular season in 3 years, basically, right? They don't lose a lot of games. They got their ass handed to them by the Oregon Ducks last year in the Fiesta Bowl, and they lost this game, right? In the last 2 years, like they won 17 straight regular season games. It's at home. We're going to find out a lot about them, but they're a hard team to trust. They really are. They're just not that good this year. Let's just call it out for what it is. They're not a great football team, but you know what? I like where you're going with the over.
I've got a AAC Thursday night game, and then I want to get into my screed about Aaron Rodgers and the Thursday night NFL game. You got the AAC Tulane taking on Charlotte, and Tulane is 3-0 as a road favorite. Charlotte overall 2-7 against the spread. And this is going to be a game where they're at Charlotte. Tulane has an awesome offense. They are scoring, like, averaging almost 40 points a game. They run the ball almost as much as Army or Navy. They 40 rushing attempts per game on average. The Charlotte 49ers are having a tough season. They're tough not only just in losing, they're just bad against the spread. And here's their problem in this game. They conceded 244 rushing yards to Memphis last week. Previously, 192 to Navy. 203 yards allowed on the ground on average of the season. They rank 118th nationally against the run. This is a bad matchup for Charlotte going against Tulane, who has 3 or 4 good running backs and a good running quarterback and is just going to run the ball all over them. It's a fairly large spread for Tulane at 16.5, but I'm thinking they win like 38-20, and I also like the over at 55.5.
Yeah, I was thinking about the over here. The Tulane team total is 36.5 for this football game. So 11-4 right now. The Yankees are about to win. The crowd's all fired up. And now the pressure is going to be on Garrett Cole tomorrow to extend this series and send it back to L.A. For a Game 6 on Friday night. A potential Game 7 would happen to be on Saturday night if that plays out. I like to go back, but it's getting pretty pricey.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, 2 mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, the Yankees are they're 1 out away from setting this to 5 games, and I think the Dodgers sort of needed this a little bit. It kind of, I can't compare the Canadians and the Yankees and the Lightning and all this completely, but all right, the game's officially over, 11-4 final. But I was even there. The Tampa Bay Lightning were up on the Montreal Canadiens 3-0 in the Stanley Cup, and it's one of those, the families are there. I've talked about it in the past. Like, the families are there. the champagne and the parties are planned and all that. They don't want to admit it publicly, but they don't have a choice but to book this stuff, right? So, like, you know what I mean? The ballroom at the hotel is booked for the family party after if we win the World Series tonight. And, you know, I talked about it. Remember, it was the Florida Panthers, actually. That's it. Now I'm getting a flashback. I remember the Panthers even admitted. They said, yeah, man, like the last 2 games when we were up, we were distracted by, like, thinking about winning and stuff. Like, now we're just panicked to win. Right, I think the Dodgers sort of need a little bit of a wake-up call here. It was kind of a little bit too easy for them the last couple of games. But tomorrow won't be easy with Garrett Cole on the hill. I'll tell you that. So Wednesday, and 1-1 in the hockey game right now, too, with the Kings and Sharks. But so we got Wednesday night baseball, no baseball Thursday. If the Dodgers win tomorrow, it's over. If not, they play Friday. But the New York Jets are on TV, unfortunately, once again, on Thursday night football. The Houston Texans are getting 2 points loud at MetLife Stadium. And similar to the Giants, the Jets are a terrible home team. I don't know how the hell they are favored in this football game against the Texans, but I could be wrong. Maybe the Jets win. I don't think they do. What do you think?
Well, to paraphrase the immortal words of Brutus in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, I come not to praise Aaron Rodgers, but to bury him. Aaron Rodgers has not.
Well played, Loud. That was nice.
Thank you. I should do it in my Marlon Brando voice next time. Rodgers has not had a 300-yard passing game in his last 25 games. His QBR is 50.4 this season. Let me tell you the quarterbacks that are below him. No, I'm sorry. Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott, Jacoby Brissett, Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, Gardner Minshew, Will Levis, and Deshaun Watson are the only quarterbacks worse in QBR than Aaron freaking Rodgers. This guy got the offense he wanted with no motion, nothing new he'd have to learn. Keep it simple for him. He got the receivers that he wanted traded to the team. He got the coach fired, and he sucks out loud. He is the problem. He's a diva. He's not a leader of men. I like to call him the man bun. I don't think he's well liked in that locker room after, the first month or so that he was there and people figured out who he really was. And the absurd statements he makes after games like, we have to embrace the darkness, and I've been there before. And this is after he blamed the media after the last game that they lost badly. So I have had it with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's been overrated for years. The guy he's basically this generation's Dan Marino. All the talent in the world and a toxic personality. And now the Texans haven't been great. Stephon Diggs hasn't done much. I'm not worried about losing him. They score more than the Jets, 23 points to the Jets 19. They run the ball better, 118 yards per game to the Jets 86. They pass the ball better, 200 yards to the Jets 224. And they both allow about the same amount of points, 22 and 21. The Texans in their last 4 games have lost narrowly to Green Bay, in Green Bay. Smashed the Patriots 41-21, who the Jets just lost to, beat the Colts, and beat the Bills. The Jets have lost 5 straight, including that loss last week, which was terrible, to the Patriots. Yet the Texans are catching points in this game. Yeah, I'll take the Texans in the points. Thank you very much.
It's either an easy win for us or we're walking into a haunted house, which I believe it will be Halloween, too. So it's going to be Halloween, which it'll be a madhouse, actually. That'll be fun. That'll be the most entertaining thing about that Jet offense, their fans' uniforms. Maybe everyone will show up like Fireman Ed. Loud Esmond, where can people see you? That's my costume. I'm Fireman Ed.
You can get my stuff. I love it. You can get my stuff at Winners and Winers, and also I have the radio show in Southern California, Steer the Line, on Friday night.
Loud Esmond. We got Rick Saratella next.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think that there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the Rick Saratellas, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. We've got a lot of stuff to unpack. It's been a wild 48 to 72 hours in the National Football League on and off the field. Rick Saratella, the founder of the NFL Draft Bible, AllAccessFootball.com, a scout with the Edmonton Elks, steps up and he's also a Yankee fan. Rick in the house. Things aren't going so well in New York, especially for the football teams. Never mind the World Series, but, it's just a constant train wreck at MetLife Stadium over and over. And here we are right now. They have a combined 4-12 record on the season. And, so the New York Giants, they lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football. Okay. I'd have to say the New York Jets are the bigger disappointment out of the New York football teams, but it's just more of the same, isn't it, Rick, with New York football? It sucks, just point blank. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's been a decade of doomsday experiences, right, for the New York football, New Jersey football teams. And, listen, Brian Daboll, he benched the wrong first round. He benched the cornerback, Deonte Banks. He should have benched the quarterback, Daniel Jones. He comes out and reaffirms Daniel Jones going to be the starting quarterback moving forward. He keeps going to his go-to phrase. Daniel Jones gives us the best chance to win, except you never win. So, Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets had more wins than Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, and every other quarterback combined last year. Maybe you should find out what he can do with another year under his belt. But they're going nowhere with Daniel Jones. 6 years of this. I compared it to Dave Brown. And it took Kent Graham to get us out of the Dave Brown experience. But my mock draft is coming out Friday. I got the Giants taking a quarterback. They have to turn the page. Whether or not Joe Shane and Brian Daboll will be there to do it, I don't know, because that whole Saquon Barkley fiasco that played out in front of the national audience on Hard Knocks, I don't know if Joe Shane comes back from that. The Giants may have to blow this whole thing up. You talk about the Jets, the expectations were there. Aaron Rodgers has been abysmal. I mean, this guy has been as disappointing as Boomer Esiason. When Boomer Esiason came over from the Bengals, MVP, he's on the back nine, washed up. Jets need to blow it up. Unfortunately, they're going to be picking in the draft where they lose out on a top-notch quarterback. They're invested so far into this Aaron Rodgers excursion. I think they're going to double down or triple down and do it again next year. That's how crazy they are. But it's just a mess in the Meadowlands.
Dude, they've given them complete control of their organization, and the hole just keeps on getting deeper. Like, no, dig up, stupid. Right? Like, all right, yeah, let's bring in another one of his buddies, Davante Adams right now. That has ramifications. You owe him money now. And it's unbelievable to me that they're actually on TV this week, pre-planned, and we can't flex this football game against the Houston Texans, and the Jets are actually favorites. Like, it's unbelievable to me how the New York Jets, like time and time again, Rick, like people, oh no, but this is the week they're going to turn it around. Like, this is where they flick the switch. Okay, Stephon Diggs is out. With all due respect to Stephon Diggs, I never understood that whole deal with Houston in the first place. They didn't need him, and I really don't think he's going to have that much of an impact that he's not there for them. And the Houston Texans are plus 2 points against the Jets, Rick.
I don't understand it, Gabe. This is a 6-2 football team. This is a really tough defense to go up against, and they will pound the rock now. They will run the ball there with Joe Mixon. They will air it out. They got a couple weapons there on offense. C.J. Stroud is playing way better than Aaron Rodgers is. So I don't understand how the Jets are favored in this matchup. It's a short week. Funny things have been happening on these primetime matchups. But you mentioned, like, hey, we'll bring in Davante Adams because Alan Lazard didn't work and Randall Cobb didn't work, and they just keep appeasing this guy. And the head coach, I mean, he's way in over his head. You got Rex Ryan out here now politicking all week. He's saying he wants to coach the New York Jets. I mean, it's just been such a fiasco. It's unbelievable.
Rex has no shame. In the sense that normally coaches, they're not trying to get coaches fired. Rex is just openly like, I want the job. I want back in the National Football League. So, Daniel Jones and the Giants and, the Jets are one thing, but the Giants could take, like, we could speak about it for a month and how, what's wrong with that organization. And even Belichick said the same thing that we said. He said, number one, he goes, you have to sign off. Belichick said you have to sign off on allowing stuff to be filmed when you tape stuff like they showed, the Barkley conversation.
Yep.
And even Belichick said, I don't understand how they thought that was a good idea to let people see them say that. Like, even Belichick is mocking them, saying these guys are idiots. Like, basically, just basically, for whatever it's worth, Mara came out and said that they got the support and all that, but maybe if things turn into such a train wreck. But let me ask you, there's so much stuff to get to, Rick. So Steichen loses his patience with Anthony Richardson, and they're going to go with Joe Flacco. They're a 4-4 football team. I can't sit here and tell anybody and tell you, Rick, that Joe Flacco doesn't give a better chance to win football games right now. But you're also not winning a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. And it's almost like having a baby and then being surprised that the baby cries after. And you have to change the diaper. It's not like a microwave, instant quarterback success in the National Football League. And I understand Richardson, and we all knew Richardson was raw as hell in the first place, but I get that, he gives a better chance to win stuff. But here, how about this, Rick? And I just want to throw this out here because I saw this and I thought it was interesting. And our boy Sam in Master Control will find this interesting. First 10 career starts, Anthony Richardson. 7 touchdown passes. First career 10 starts, Josh Allen, 7. So let's compare Josh Allen's first 10 games in the NFL to Anthony Richardson. 7 touchdown passes each. Richardson, 5 rushing touchdowns. Josh, 6 touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns. Anthony Richardson, 11 turnovers. Josh Allen, 13 turnovers. Anthony Richardson passer rating, 68.8. Josh Allen passer rating after 10 games, 64.2. Completion percentage, 50.2. Terrible, abysmal for Anthony Richardson. Josh Allen, 52.3%. Win-loss record. Josh Allen was 4-6 in his first 10 starts in the NFL. Anthony Richardson is 5-5 in his first 10 starts in the NFL. Have the Indianapolis Colts thrown Anthony Richardson under the bus too quickly, in your opinion, Rick, or do you agree with the move?
I agree with the move, Gabe, and I got to give Shane Steichen credit for admitting a mistake and moving on. And I think that what you did see from Josh Allen that you don't see from Anthony Richardson was glimpses of brilliance. Like there was games where Josh Allen flashed huge arm potential. I mean, he had a cannon arm. He made throws that you just didn't see before. I don't think we've seen that from Anthony Richardson at the NFL level. And for as much bad as there was early on with Josh Allen, there was a lot of good. The good doesn't come around too often with Anthony Richardson. They win because of Jonathan Taylor. They win because of the defense. They win, these close games. But Anthony Richardson, like Jaden Daniels has come in and lit the league on fire. Now, I'm not saying Anthony Richardson has to do that, but you're not seeing that kind of greatness flash before your eyes. And I think, Joe Flacco is the superior quarterback. I just don't know, like, are they waving a towel? Are they throwing it in on Anthony Richardson? Because Flacco's probably going to be retired in a couple months. Anthony Richardson, you spent the first round pick on. I think it's a byproduct of a short circuit, a short patient span in the NFL these days. These young coaches, they come in, they don't win the first year or two. They're starting to feel the heat. They got to win ball games. And instead of doing what's best for the organization, which is developing a young quarterback, they're out here trying to win ball games and save their job. And it's just it's a confidence thing. You mentioned the Giants Hard Knocks. It's an ego thing. You mentioned Shane Steichen. It's an ego thing. Egos tear down football organizations.
You're bang on. Well said, Rick. And I tweeted the same thing earlier. Coaches are worried.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, it does seem like he really enjoys, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. We're breaking it down with Rick Saratella. Always a pleasure talking football with Rick, allaccessfootball.com. So, of course, Rick is the founder of the NFL Draft Bible. And on a weekly basis, we always check in and look at the updated odds, who's going to be the number one pick in the National Football League draft. And if you guys recall, and I saved the tweets and posts, I've been saying, and I said all along, I said Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers are not going to be the number one picks in the draft. They were the favorites for the most part I said Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward is going to be the number one pick of the draft. The odds makers have listened to me, Rick. Shedeur Sanders right now, plus 375 to be the top pick in the NFL draft. Cam Ward, the second choice, at plus 550 right now. Travis Hunter at plus 600. Carson Beck, 9-1. Quinn Ewers, 11-1. Garrett Nussmeier is now 18-1. Jalen Milroe, 18-1. But what do you think right now as far as where we stand this week? And there are going to be teams that are going to be needing quarterbacks at the top of this NFL board. Tennessee Titans, you talked about the New York Giants. To me, the Raiders are going to need a quarterback. What are your thoughts on the updated top pick right now?
I think it's fascinating, Gabe. I think Carolina and New Orleans are playing this week, two teams that could be in the quarterback market. But when you look at Carolina and you look at the head coach, we just talked about young coaches being on the hot seat. David Canales. I mean, if it was me, I'd be firing this guy after one season. Maybe he's still there, but you know, Bryce Young just got drafted as the number one overall pick 2 years ago. We saw this with Josh Rosen, the same exact scenario. And it looks like the Panthers have moved on. Now, there were some positive comments made after Bryce Young's performance the other day, which I don't know how that happens. They lost like 45-14, and the head coach is talking about Bryce Young played a good game. I don't get it. So, you know, to me, I think the team has already moved on. Andy Dalton's a retread. Bryce Young, I think they're kind of done with that experiment. So I do believe Carolina is going to take a quarterback, and the best quarterback in college football is Cam Ward, right? And so the Tennessee Titans, who you mentioned, are going to be picking number 2 if the draft were held tomorrow. Same deal. Will Levis now, he slid out of the first round. There was some first round hype about him. They're giving him a kind of fire by trial type of situation, but he hasn't won over anybody as far as I'm concerned. So like Shedeur Sanders would make a lot of sense for Tennessee. And I actually have Travis Hunter number 3 to the New England Patriots because I do think their quarterback situation is set with Drake May. One last thing about the Saints. We mentioned them. I think they're currently like in the 7 slot. They've got to ask themselves, is Spencer Rattler better than the third best quarterback in the draft? That's the scenario the Saints are going to be dealing with. But I think we get 2 quarterbacks up top, and then there's maybe a drop-off. Beck, Jalen Milroe, I think, slide into the first round. Quinn Ewers now is a round 2 guy for me due to durability issues.
I got an opportunity to watch. I was traveling on Saturday, but I got to the resort hotel sportsbook. Made sure in Seattle to stay in a place where I could bet on sports, Rick. But you can't do it via app in the state of Washington. You have to do it in person. And the native casinos are in control of it. So we were staying out there at Muckleshoot. Great property, actually. If anybody's ever going to be in the area, I do endorse it, and they didn't even pay me to tell you that. But good place to stay and a good place to bet. But I was, after the Dodger game, I actually bet on the Colorado Buffaloes. And this Buffalo team has been really good to me. And it's funny because last year, everybody paid attention to everything that they did. They were getting their ass handed to them, and they were on TV all the time. Now they're winning, and people really aren't paying attention to them. They're on late at night more now, and they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit, but they're a good football team. Like I'm telling you guys, I've watched the development of this team, and they've really come together. And speaking of Shedeur Sanders, at one point, Rick, he was 14 of 14 to start the game, and you and I talk about it, bro. Not like he has a ton of time in the pocket. Like he's 14 of 14, improvising, running around, making plays. He ended up 25 of 30, and I swear, Rick, I don't know if one of these incompletions was like a real incomplete pass. Like most of them were like, I got to throw it out of bounds because I'm running for my life. Like this kid, man, he's just dialed in. I don't know. Like to me, he's not getting the attention that he actually should for the high level of football that he plays on a weekly basis, Shedeur Sanders.
You're right about that. I mean, and that's a really high-quality football team they beat in Cincinnati there. That was the most efficient game he's played, I think, of his collegiate career in terms of the FBS level. Colorado, had some good games at Jackson State, but this is very high-quality caliber competition. And, I think he's going to make a good NFL quarterback. I don't think he's going to be for every market, but when you talk about Tennessee, a situation where he can go in there, it's not exactly stage A, tier 1 major media market. He can kind of go in there, do his thing, be himself, save the franchise. I think he has that kind of talent. But I mean, the decision making, the maturity, the way he checks the media, I think is highly impressive. People might not like it, but I dig it. And this man's answers, I mean, he might be too smart for his own age, but that's the byproduct of him, right? You know, these guys are so mature. Yeah. They're getting NIL deals in middle school. By the time they hit college, I mean, they're smarter than us.
No, this kid's got ice in his veins, and it's one thing. At first, listen, you know, I didn't like earlier in the year we talked about, you know, how's his offensive line compared to my offensive line. You know, I didn't like when he publicly basically admitted that his O-line sucks. But at the same point in time, I've seen him, and I saw it on the sidelines actually on Saturday, him supporting teammates as well. You know, he went up to a couple of guys during the game, and he told them, there was a story with a center who he's had a problem with a little bit. The center's like sailing snaps over his head. He told him, I got your back, bro. Ain't nobody throwing you under the bus here, you know? So same thing with his receivers. And you got to be real. Let's be real. You know better than anyone, Rick. You need a little bit of cockiness. If you're going to run an NFL team, like, he's not going to be some shy, meek rookie coming in here, bro. This kid speaks his mind in the huddle, man.
Well, let's not forget who his father is, shall we?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I mean,
he's like a modern Dion. Yeah. He's like he's a little edgier than Dion was, even. You know what I mean? A little meaner.
Yeah, that's right. But you know, just like his father, though.
We only got about 30 seconds here, Rick. So I'll give you the last.
Like his father, though, Cowboys, 49ers. You love to have him on your team. You hate to play against him. That's who his father was.
That's my only deal is I wonder if they're going to play a few games about what market they're going to want to end up in. But the fact is, either way, you're going to be the face of the franchise, so it should be good enough. Rick Saratella, follow him on Twitter. Always good, Rick.
Appreciate you.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, you know, it does seem like he really enjoys, you know, people like us, Vinny, talking about him.
I don't know what's going on here with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some frustration settling in, and the Jets were not supposed to be this bad of a defense, right? They've had a lot of injuries. Maybe that's the thing here. Robert Saleh's influence is there. I know they have their defensive coordinator running things, but now he's distracted.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
When you talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks, offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, thanks to Rick Yankee fan Saratella. Although Rick is a diehard old school Yankee fan, showing some love for the Bronx Bombers who have extended this series. We've got a number for Game 5, of course we do. And Garrett Cole, of course, is on the hill for the New York Yankees. Jack Flaherty. It's a rematch of Game 1 that went to extra innings. The Yankees are minus 140 favorites right now. In fact, it came down. They were minus 150 a couple of minutes ago. And I was waiting to get to this coming out of the break, actually, and I see a minus 140 right now. Dodgers plus 120. The total is an even 8. So total is an even 8. Yankees minus 140. Dodgers plus 120. And one thing I'm going to miss about the Dodgers in this playoff run are these player props. That, like tonight, I lost money with the Dodgers tonight, but Mookie Betts was plus 140 over 1.5 total bases. He had a double in his first at-bat. So, boom, there was a plus 140. Freddie Freeman, plus 155. The guy's got a home run in every one of these games. I got to take him to take a home run tomorrow. I'm going to feel stupid if I don't. But he's got a home run in every one of the games. He was plus 155 over 1.5 total bases. Boom. He hit that in the first inning. So you hit we hit a plus 140, a plus 155. Lewis Heel, who I thought pitched better, and he was better than I thought he was going to be. He was in the game longer than I expected, but he also didn't come anywhere near close to going over 3.5 strikeouts. And it was plus 132 to the under. So we hit 3+ money props right there. And we ended up making a little bit of money in this game, despite the fact that we dropped another nickel on the Dodgers tonight. I sort of was a sacrifice, Cam. I sort of knew, all right, they might not win, but now I got to sort of come back. Now I go back tomorrow with them again. And then if I have to, it's like the triple up and a quadruple up as we get bigger as we go. I think they can finish it off tomorrow. Tomorrow's a toss-up. I'm not going to say, oh, they're going to beat Cole for sure, or they're going to lose the game for sure. I don't know, right? It could go either way. You know, one thing a couple of things I'm concerned about now. Ohtani's injury is evidently more serious than anybody thought it was. And if they got to keep on playing games, what if we get to the point that Ohtani can't play? Right, so they got to finish this thing off so Ohtani can go to the hospital. And I'm not a fan of the fact that the Yankee bats came alive, that were ice cold. It could continue tomorrow, but it might not. Momentum is fleeting in the playoffs. One game to another, momentum doesn't really carry over, to be honest.
I'm with you. I agree with that 100%. Just because they look confident, can you do it the next day? And no, it would have been nice to get the Dodgers when that line first opened up, Gabe. I waited a little bit, but I still think here's the deal. I still think Flaherty's good. And people talk about Cole. Like, Cole is a very, very good pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but you can get to this guy early. Like, he's not indestructible. He can give up hits. You can get to him. It's one of those situations where you look at the team and the Dodgers and the lineup that they still have, and you're getting plus money. And I think that's really, really important. Freeman's been good to us in the playoffs, Morency. I think this is going to be a great game. It will eventually get into the bullpens. And the Dodger bullpen, great point by you. They got rid of guys that were inexperienced and less talented guys tonight. Now, what is left is talent and the guys that have been there before and guys with better stuff. So that's an advantage at the back end as well. I'll take my shot with the Dodgers, and we'll play it in game.
Yeah, and they're plus money, so that's nice. And once again, all the props are going to be the exact same thing tomorrow. They're the same price all the time. Like for Betts and for Freeman and the plus money and the strikeout props that we've really been crushing. So speaking of getting crushing, now the Pelicans are losing. The Pelicans were up like massively early in this basketball game. They were up 31-14 after the first quarter of play. Now they're losing 97-86. And don't forget, the Warriors don't have anybody. The total is up to 228.5. I was thinking about jumping in on the 221, and I didn't. And I actually won the bet because I bet money on the Pelicans, and they were up by 20 or more. Yep. So I got paid, and I tried to double dip it, though. And I came back with the Pelicans when the game was tied after. I'm trying to beat them twice, like with their money, which is a little cocky. And as soon as I did it, the Warriors went on a run, 97-86 right now. And in the hockey game, 1-1 after 2 periods of play. And one thing, I brought this up earlier, the last 3 freaking times the Kings and Sharks have played, it has been a 1-goal game. And here we go again. We've got a 1-1 hockey game after 2 periods of play. In-game total is 4.5. LA Kings are still minus 220 favorites.
It's pretty high. And I'll give the Sharks credit, Gabe. They killed off a lot of penalties. And one other game in the AHL, your team, Abbotsford Canucks, playing the Tucson Roadrunners. This game is tied. I like Abbotsford minus 115 live.
All right, we'll catch you on the Wicked Wednesday. Other than that, you're on your own later.